Good evening, my friends. We are in the season of Gemini, and this little rant and request is for you to stick with me till the end. Now, if we look at what astrologer Colin Bedell says, he says curiosity has its own reason for existing. The important thing is not to stop questioning. And there couldn't be a better intro to tonight's conversation. And what I want to share with you is to never fall short of your own truth by positioning and worshiping man, religion, money. You fill in your blank. Just never stop questioning. And as we step into tonight's conversation, I talk a lot about building a trust fund because there is a lack of trust in self, in society, in relationship, and oftentimes in truth. And so I'm going to give you a weapon, which is a weapon and a wand at the same time. This duality of the idea that your gifts, your natural gifts, your genius, have a light and a dark side. And so when you're deploying your greatest strengths, it's really how you choose to live in your bravest self and build that trust fund in self first and foremost. But the thing is that if our beliefs and this well of goodness in our soul and our intention is poisoned by a system that will never allow you to win, your greatest gifts are where you have the capacity to be uniquely self destructive if you are not set up on an even playing field. Now, next, how does it affect the body? There's more to this, my friend. Hang in there. Your nervous system is set up for will I die? That is the filter. Completely primal. So the system in your body that mobilizes on your behalf and tries to keep you safe is also trying to stay alive from traumas, conditioning, life experiences, and it can mess with your nervous system. Now, this is a conversation for another day on how we can assist that with hypnotherapy and journeys and energy work. These are all amazing ways to reshape your nervous system because honestly, breath, energy, chi, belief, those are your natural body's language. It's holographic. And that's the small hologram of you. Now let's step into the larger hologram and the rant, right? So this world, my friend, going back to the trust fund, is one that lives in a very uncertain energy. And frankly, I'm here to share what a pathetic joke it has become. And you know it. And there's so much disbelief and FUD thrown at the transitioning world right now as far as the world of financial. And so I'm going to share a little bit of my perspective because I want us to get really clear on what kind of pathetic joke this really is. And you know it. And it would be funny if not for the fact that hundreds of millions of dollars in legal fees and trying to set up this new economic system have been exhausted in this fight for you in this war that is being fought right now, specifically in the decentralization industry. And as we see Ripple and other companies, you may not be familiar with it. That's okay. Don't check out. There are certain people going up and bucking against the system, but they lose their court case after court case, as they have already and will continue to at some point, whether a whistleblower or what have you, they just get thrown out. And it's got to stop. And frankly, in my perspective, it is starting to stop. But we have to understand that right now, those that control, there will never be an apology to you. There's not going to be any money that comes back. They just want to move on, just like we did with beloved Kennedy's birthday as of late and Kennedy's assassination. We'll just move on, like we did with Vietnam. We'll just move on, like we did with certain wars right now, what's going on with Iraq and Israel and Afghanistan. We'll just move on, like we have done and are doing right now with COVID. We'll just move on, like we did with all of these things that have happened in the last 50, 60, 70 years in our history. And it has to stop. It honestly has to stop, my friends. Why do I talk about decentralization? I'm a hypnotherapist. I own an organic salon. I've been a polymath entrepreneur for 22 years. And I'm talking about digital currency. I created my own coin so I can understand the system and how digital currency and Web3 works because I believe in it. Why? Because we have to have an exit program that no longer works for others to enter into. Because the only people that seem to think, the only people that seem to improve situations are the people that are unraveling this current government because it's not accountable. People harm people and they get away with it and they just move on and nothing changes. People are tired of it. And I think that this industry is also tired of it. Every industry. The entire reason that cryptocurrencies and digital assets exist is not that someone woke up and said, man, I'd really like to spend a lot of money and lose a lot of money on understanding how to create this tokenized system within the IoT, Internet of Things. It's a really good idea. The entire reason that the digital asset world exists is that we're trying to collectively reestablish the social contract, meaning your future. Because the social contract right now is horrifically broken. And if the people in charge are unelected, unaccountable, and don't ever have to prove to us the beneficiaries of this public trust, they're not doing good for us. And when they screw up, nothing happens to them. They have special privileges to make sure that none of their legalities are shown to the American public. They get a promotion. They get elected to higher office. That's how they hike. And we just have to move on as a society. That is not a governance for the people, by the people, for the people, of the people. That is entirely something else. And it's dark. And it looks a lot more like the thing that we rebelled against when we founded this country. So it will change because we don't have any money left. And that's where we're at right now. Their backs are up against a wall. There's nowhere that they can turn. We are at 31 trillion in debt. Everything is collapsing right now. And the American empire cannot sustain itself. So you run out of money, eventually it's going to fall apart, especially when you spend everybody else's money. And we all know that, and or you're getting to understand that. And you will continue to see what friends and I have sat in groups from 8 p.m. to 1 p.m. every single night discussing the state of politics, the state of currencies, the state of economics, the state of the deep state of decoding everything. They've forced us to think how to think. So with that said, it's just sad because so many people have split in relationships and families. And at the same time, so many people have invested so much effort, time, and money, and blood and tears and sweat into trying to preserve and to protect and to empower the American dream. And if, by the way, it's not the American people that are doing this, that want the change, the 80 to 90% of people that have been polled are fundamentally unhappy with the legislative branch, the judicial branch, the executive branch, and we want different leaders. We want a different governance system. Yet the American government stays exactly the same, doesn't change. The American people are good people. We are good and honest people. If you go around the entire United States, you will find very hardworking people, honest people, highly integrative people. They're out there working their ass off, building something because they got a family to take care of, because they had a vision that sparked them, and they have just become a cog in the machine because they don't know how to do anything else. That's the American people. That's who we are. We get it done. We build the best companies. We build the best infrastructures. And if we don't have it, we will fly people in and make it the greatest thing that we possibly can. And then we have the government, and it's a catastrophe. Glory be to God, glory be to Source and the consciousness that is awakening in our society, that portals are starting to be opened. Our angelic guides are assisting us because it harms and hurts so many people. And there was no way out other than what this plan is right now and what we're going to see about to happen. Because that system never says that it's wrong. There's no accountability. And so it is shifting. We're seeing it in the disclosure, declassification, Pentagon papers. They lied to you. And now we're publishing it. And now we're going to talk about it. And so how dare you compromise our national security, the security of the people, and the security of their soul? So we're here to change it. We're going to fix it. And there's a two-prong approach. One is, yes, digital assets. We're really seeing that around social engineering. We're reinventing money. And this happens every 100 of years, right? That's why black swans happen. We're going to reinvent our voice. We're going to change the voting system. We're going to reinvent identity and property rights and our philosophical movement, our spiritual movement. And we also owe the young. It will likely take 10 years at a time. And Gen Z gets it. They're not going anywhere. A lot of them are starseeds. I understand you, my friends. They're here. And this movement involving the angelic guides, the Palladians, and all of those that have been a part of this since Kennedy, and even before, those that were able to look in the future and bring it back. This is how we're going to regrow and shift away from the hypocrisy. Now, the other prong to this approach is rebuilding what our forefathers were smart enough to put into the Constitution that they deviated away from. And we need now 2/3 of our states to come together, and it is happening. The whole government needs to be taken down, and they will be. Trust me. So right now, we're seeing a lot of hype, but we're learning how to do that right now with XRP, XLM, XDC. And the American people will come and revolutionize the spiritual, economic, and move away from the beast that once was and put the beast on the truth side. So, where I started is relevant. Stay curious. Continue to stay curious. Stay mentally active. This is going to be required to take a different path. We need to put this into action and do the work. And so, my friend, with that said, our views will be altered, our realities will be diverse. Truths for you will become truths for me as this bigger picture evolves, as we all look at the same movie now and start to elevate the consciousness. It's going to move very quickly, but stay curious because it's completely regenerative and it's going to bless you greatly. There's good things ahead. So if you need any support, please do reach out to me. All my love, all my light. We'll see you on the next one.